Vic, what do you see out of them offensively? Young quarterback, but not young now, I guess.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's got a super fast release. He's extremely. I saw him run away from a lot of guys from Oklahoma that can fly. That's just an example, just off the top of my head. I mean, he's getting better and better. I think they've run him 50-something times in the last 4 games. So he's becoming a running threat. Anytime you got a quarterback that's a running threat, obviously it's tough. They got, Rieger's as good a receiver as there is in our league. I just got through going over the sizes of their offensive line, which all but the center is a senior. And you're talking about 6'8", 6'7", 6'8". And I was sitting there going, when I watched their left tackle running, I thought that was a tight end lined up there about 3 times. I said, because that's tight ends run like that. So they're going to be as talented an offensive line as we've seen the whole year, I would think. And we knew that way back when. What they do, they schematically, they spread you out with the old saying, the spread you to shred you. And they create gaps, and then either the running back or the quarterback's able to get an extra guy. So, and lots of screens, a lot of quick 5-out passing game. It's unique in some respects to some other teams, and it's the same in some respects. They've got a ton of formations. I hope they don't have as many as Oklahoma State did, but they've got a good number. So.
I know your coach's attention is always on fixing problems or addressing maybe breakdowns.
Or trying to prevent them, yeah.
Yeah, but do you get a chance at all to say, hey, man, what we designed here, we ran it really well, the guys produced, and enjoy that for just a second?
Well, you want to. I think there's a lot of time to do that when the season's over and we go back and recap it. I think that the thing that I got to make sure that I don't, and that I know I have a weakness of, and as I'm always trying to figure out how to get better. So even after you do something pretty good, you can always there's always more. I've told our players since camp, if they'll just trust us, believe in us, do what we're asking them to do, and we haven't for the whole year. I mean, there was a bunch of times where we just had quarters where I can't even figure out what we were doing or where we were at, but I will say that the last 2 games, you take out basically the first quarter and a half against Tech. Then you go to the Baylor game before that. Over the last 4 games, we're actually doing things really well, and our guys got to understand that this isn't anything that they didn't get told from get-go. And I'm not one for sitting there saying, for swinging a bunch of praise, because that's what I expect. I mean, I expected them to do this. I expect us to dominate the line of scrimmage. I expect us to cover and passes. I expect us to line up right. All that, and I'm not saying it as but that is the expectations, because they've been coached. The guys I know that are coaching them on the practice field, in the meeting room, I know we're getting into every detail of everything. There were some formations Oklahoma State ran that they're going to sit back and say, how did they know, or what? Well, it's just what they were. We just executed right, and so we're far from perfect. Obviously, only one person that's ever been on this earth is perfect, and we're going to get better and better and better, and that's what we just got to strive just to take today and go out and get better. It's going to take every ounce of everything we've got on Friday to beat TCU. We gave up 2 drives in the fourth quarter, and that was the difference in the game. And I don't care what anybody wants to believe, or they can spin it however you want to. Oklahoma State's players started imposing their will a little bit. We ran out of a little bit of juice just because of fatigue or whatever. And we weren't powerful enough or strong enough or good enough at that time to keep them out of the end zone. we got some things we can get better at, and we will get better at, and we can coach better. There's some things I can do as a coach to get them better, and I got to make sure to try to put them in the exact right position to be successful. And so I think if we're all trying to make the ship go this way, then it's not going this way, then we'll get where we want to get to. And everybody's just got to keep pressing forward.
I know you're reluctant to single out guys, but Pooler seems to be a player that's really come on the last couple of weeks.
Jeff has had a great few games. I want to say 4 games in a row. He's been really good, and he's got a mentality. He can figure stuff out. It's a lot of guys. It's A or B. He can understand C, D, E, and F, and what happens if this happens, and so that's a benefit for him. And it enables us to do a little bit more with him, and which we are. We're asking him to do much more stuff, and so I'm very proud of him. And like I wanted to reiterate, our guys have played their absolute tails off. And I said this, when you got D linemen playing 80 snaps, and they played a bunch the other day, and the compilation of all those snaps kind of add up. So we got to do a really good job, and we tried to spell them as best we could with a different package in the game, every other or every third series. And so Pooler, not to make a long answer to a short question, he has done a good job.
And Kerry Martin seemed to hold up.
I was proud of Kerry the other day. Yeah, that's pretty good running back. He threw it in there. There was one play, he threw his body in there, and he got ejected. And I said, yeah, well, at least I know you're not scared. It was good that he didn't see the guy coming, or he might have backed up. But he showed no fear, and that's awesome. Kerry knows what to do as good as anybody in the room. And when he plays hard and plays with a sense of urgency, I've got a nickname for him, and it's kind of makes fun of him a little bit for having a little bit of a lacking sense of urgency. And that's something that we'll work on. And I'm not belittling him at all. I'm just saying that's something that he'll get better at. And I was very proud of him, and hopefully he'll build on that. A lot of guys handle things differently. We've been on Tyke's tail pretty hard to not ease off the accelerator. We got to have hammer down, and like I said, we're going to have every guy on our defense is going to have to play the game of their life for us to win Friday.
What's the nickname?
Excuse me?
What's the nickname?
Well, I think that's good between. It's not ugly. It's just it's an acronym. I'll put it that way.
Okay. You and Gary go way back. He said that after things had ended at Wyoming, you guys kind of even grew tighter, and that he kind of pulled you in a little bit and tried to help you.
Well, the way things happened, that whole deal was, and I don't remember me talking about it much, but when you get fired and you go to a coaches convention, you almost get treated like you have pleurisy, man. So all the head coaches or all the guys they're like, they see you and they turn around, they look away, or they don't want to make eye contact and this and that. And it's bad now. It's almost it's a sad deal. So it's kind of the reason why I don't like going to the convention, because there's a lot of great coaches walking around that maybe are struggling to get jobs or to get another job, and it's really, for me, it's kind of a sad deal. But Gary couldn't have been nicer. He was a friend, and we have been friends, and we don't like talk all the time. But when his folks passed away over the last few years, I've tried to reach out to him, and his brother, where he's from in Kansas, is a real small town, and so there's communication back and forth with friends. So Gary's done as good a job as anybody in college football. His record speaks for itself. He's probably, if not the best defensive coach in the country, got to be in the top 1 or 2. So he's recruiting-wise, he's always every year got guys coming in. So I can't say enough praise about Gary and the job that he's done and the person that he is.
You guys are in the same class at Kansas State, but he was a student assistant last year?
Well, he came in to K-State I actually took him on his recruiting visit. Now, he doesn't look like much as far as a big statured guy right now. And I did send him a picture a few years ago, him on the sideline, with big, making a hard time. I'm not going to tell you the response I got on that one. But so I think I remember right, I took him to a fraternity party, and we may have absconded with a half keg or something and went out and had our own fun. I don't remember all the details and probably don't need to remember all of them, but we've been good friends, and he was at the same position meeting room. And anyway, we've shared a lot of positive things, and again, he has been a wonderful friend to me over the years.
Is that where your resourcefulness comes from and his?
No, I can't speak for him. I know he's gone through the hard way. He was coaching at one of those leagues. I don't even know if they ever even had but 1 year. Might have played a couple of games, and he's been back and forth, and he was out in the West Coast for a long time. He's had to work his way and scratch and claw to where he's at. He worked for Dennis Franchione for a long time, and that's the pittance in itself. And I like Dennis, but anyway, so he's earned everything he's gotten, and obviously he knows how to do it. And for when you speak about me, I don't like to talk about me. There's the humbleness. I mean, I want to be the most humble person that's out there, and so it's kind of sometimes you have to just watch what you say. So,
But along those lines, and I know you're studying TCU's offense, but he's been known to put in wrinkles from week to week, and I'm sure.
Well, their offensive coaches will, and then I'm sure Gary's gone over and said, "Do this. This is what he's doing, and do this." And so I'm careful to understand that I've got a guy that understands our coverages. Now, I did go visit with him one time and was to take notes several years. This has been a long time ago, about all his different coverages and stuff. And after about 3 minutes, I said, I can't figure this stuff out, so I ain't gonna worry about it. He's pretty complicated. He's a detailed guy, and so, we're gonna do what we do, and they're gonna do what they do, and so it's just gonna be who wants it the most, probably.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Good, thanks.